Yo, what's going on YouTube? So a new study came out today on what's the best volume for muscular gains and for strength. And this one was an 8-week study, and they had 3 different groups. They all did a leg workout twice a week, but they did different volume. One group did 7 sets twice a week, so 14 total sets. Another one did, I think it was 17 sets twice a week. So one day was 7 and another day was 8. And then another group did 10 sets twice per week. So like 30% more volume, 60% more volume, and one group just did the same amount of volume they were doing before. So 14 sets versus 17 sets versus 20 sets. And they were doing, I think it was squats, leg extensions, and lunges. I think that's what it was. And they all had the same amount of muscle gain by the end. They measured the size of their quads. It was all the same. What was not the same was the strength gains. The group that had the lowest amount of volume, so 7 sets twice a week, gained like 19% on their squat, while the other 2 was like 5%, a lower number, a much lower number, which is really interesting because it once again brings a lot of validation to this idea that the amount of sets that you need to grow has been, very largely overstated by the fitness community for a really long time. I think I was mentioning before this guy named Paul Carter, who was making the point that if the volume chart of doing 20 sets per week, 30 sets per week, 40 sets per week, you see that it starts off, you make gains on 5 sets a week, and then it starts to asymptotically trend towards a flat line. But it keeps going up just a little bit each time. And his point was, if you overlay a strength chart with the same amount of sets per week, they should be, exactly correlated. However, it's not. So the volume chart of muscle being put on is going like this, slowly increasing, while the strength one goes up and then goes flat and then starts going down. And so his point that I think has been, is validated in a study like this is the gains in the volume were not new muscle tissue. It was swelling. It was those body parts being swelled up with extra blood flow from all this extra volume and work. It was not new muscle mass. And so the point is, you can get away with maximizing strength and muscular gains at low amounts of sets per week. I've seen anywhere between 4 to 6 sets per week. That's it, which is really shocking. But there's also the one little caveat to that is you don't want to do each body part once a week. 2 or 3 times a week is superior, but you're still only doing, 5 total sets, 6 total sets. So, for example, if you wanted to get stronger at chin-ups, instead of doing 10 sets all in one day, you could do 2 on Monday, 2 on Wednesday, 2 on Friday. If you wanted to get really strong at the bench press, 2 difficult sets on Monday, 2 on Wednesday, 2 on Friday. That is a much better way to split it up than to hammer your chest with 15 sets, which is very popular, shockingly popular. I think it's also in this there's almost this toxicity that exists in this whole oh, you just gotta grind harder mentality. When it comes to strength adaptations, that is not true. Should you work really hard for your set, in your sets? Yes, training close to failure is usually a really good idea. But endless sets, 10 working sets, 3 times a week, 30 total sets a week, ain't it. And again, this should be freeing to know. This should be awesome to know, because what it means is you only need a little bit of concentrated focus and effort in order to maximize gains. So that's the takeaway. Another study that shows again that strength gains are made greater in lower volume in comparison to higher volume. So if you're stuck, if you've hit a wall, are are you doing each body part twice a week? Are you maybe going to now switch it to 3 times a week? Were you only doing one? Are you doing like 10 sets and like going way too hard in that one workout? These are the changes that you can make, that you can manipulate your training program to make better gains. So something, really good to keep in mind.